worn out economic theories that say we just give more and more to the billionaires and the millionaires, the big corporations, and hope that somehow prosperity trickles down on everyone else. The last thing we can afford is a theory that says we should strip away all regulation in our financial markets, in our healthcare system, when we know that that's exactly what helped get us into this mess. Those are the theories that haven't worked. It is time for change. And North Carolina, that's why I'm running for President of the United States of America. And that's what we're going to bring about. Now,
Yes, we can! 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 Yes, we can!
now, I want to say, first of all, Senator McCain and his wife Cindy McCain issued a statement offering their condolences, and they were extraordinarily gracious. I want to thank them for that. Just as I want to thank everybody else who's been praying for us and supporting our family during this difficult time. And it's incredibly gracious of Senator McCain, and it's an example of the fact that Senator McCain has continued to serve his country honorably. And he can point to occasions where, over the last 8 years, he's broken with George Bush. On torture, for example, he deserves enormous credit for that. He's a genuine American hero. But when it comes to the economy, when it comes to the central issue of this election, the truth is that John McCain has stood with President Bush every step of the way. He's voted for the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy that he opposed. He voted for the Bush budgets that took us from surplus into debt. He supported deregulation. 21 times this year he said that deregulation was part of the answer. Those are the facts. So after 21 months and 3 debates, Senator McCain still hasn't explained to the American people a single major thing he'd do differently from George Bush when it comes to the economy. It's not because he's a bad man, but it's because he doesn't understand what's taking place right now in America. I think when he said about 7 weeks ago that after more than 5,000 jobs had been lost and more than 7,000 homes were foreclosed on, when he then said that the fundamentals of the economy are sound, you had a sense that he wasn't paying attention to what was going on here in Charlotte, what was happening here in North Carolina. But you and I know that there's something fundamentally wrong with our economy. That the on-your-own, out-of-touch economic philosophy has not worked. A philosophy that says we should give $700,000 tax cuts to the average Fortune 500 CEO, $300 billion in tax cuts to the same Wall Street banks that got us into this mess, $200 billion to corporations, including $4 billion to the oil companies after they just made another quarter of record profits, while leaving 100 million middle-class Americans without any tax relief whatsoever. That's not change. It's a philosophy that hasn't worked. And I will end it when I'm President of the United States of America. Understand, we've tried it John McCain's way. We have tried it George Bush's way. Deep down, Senator McCain's campaign understands that, which is why they said that if we keep on talking about the economy, we're going to lose. That's why I keep on talking about the economy. Instead, what we've gotten is distractions. They've called me everything but a child of God. You know, but that's the habit that we get into in Washington. And all of us are guilty of it sometime. Even Democrats can fall into this trap where if you don't think you can win on your ideas, then you try to make big elections about small things. And we may see a little bit of that over the next 24 hours, but we have a chance to put an end to it in this campaign. Not just in this election, but for good. Because the one thing we know that is stronger than negative politics is the will and the determination, the hope of the American people. That's what you're showing me here in North Carolina. That's what we're showing the American people all across the country. That's how we're going to win this election in 24 hours. North Carolina, we can prove we are more than a collection of states or a collection of individuals. We are a union. Not perfect, but we can work to perfect it. That's who we are. That's the country we need to be right now. I know these are difficult times, but I know that we've faced difficult times before. The American story has never been about things coming easy. It's been about rising to the moment when the moment was hard. It's about rejecting fear and division for unity of purpose. That's how we overcame those wars and Great Depressions. That's how we won the great struggles for civil rights and women's rights and workers' rights. That's how we will write the next great chapter in the American story, and it can start in 24 hours if you are ready. If we want to meet the challenges of this moment, we need to go beyond the old debates, the divides between left and right. We don't need bigger government or smaller government. We need better government. A more competent government, a government that's fighting for you. The choice isn't between tax cuts and no tax cuts in this election. John McCain and I both want to give tax cuts. The question is, who do we give it to? See, I don't think we should just reward wealth. I think we've got to reward work. That's why I'm going to give a tax break to 95% of Americans who work every day, get taxes taken out of their paycheck every single week. I'll pay for it by asking folks who are making more than $250,000 a year to go back to the tax rate they were paying back in the 1990s. Let me see a show of hands. How many people are making less than $250,000 a year? All of you. Which includes 98% of small business persons and 99.9% of plumbers. All of you won't see your taxes go up a single dime. Not your income tax, not your payroll tax, not your capital gains tax, no tax. The last thing we should do is put a bigger burden on you. We do need to create jobs. And the choice in this election is not between putting up a wall around America or standing by and doing nothing. The truth is, we won't be able to bring back every job that we've lost. Manufacturing changed, we've got global competition, but that doesn't mean we just keep on promoting unfair trade agreements. It doesn't mean we keep on giving tax breaks to companies that ship jobs overseas. I will end those tax breaks. We'll give tax breaks to companies that invest right here in Charlotte, right here in North Carolina, right here in the United States of America. We can build. We can create 2 million new jobs, rebuilding our roads, our bridges, our schools, laying broadband lines so that we can locate companies in rural communities, create a new electricity grid to get renewable energy to the places where it's most needed. I'll invest $15 billion a year in renewable energy, in wind power and solar power, the next generation of biofuels, invest in clean coal technology. We'll make the fuel-efficient cars of tomorrow, not in Japan, not in South Korea, but right here in the United States of America. We can create jobs that pay well, jobs that can't be outsourced. When it comes to healthcare, we don't have to choose between a government-run healthcare system and the unaffordable one we have now. Look, if you have health insurance, you can keep your plan, keep your doctor. We're just going to work to lower your premiums.
All right.
If you don't have health insurance, if you're under 25, we're going to let you be on your parents' health insurance until you get a job with health insurance. If you're over 25, we're going to let you buy into the same kind of health insurance that members of Congress give themselves. And as somebody who watched his own mother spend the final months of her life arguing with insurance companies who said that maybe her illness was a pre-existing condition, they might not want to pay for the treatment. I know what it's like to see a loved one suffer, not just because they're sick, but because of a broken healthcare system. It is wrong. It will change. We are going to put an end to discrimination by insurance companies when I am President of the United States of America.